everyone, it's CL back with another video. I'm actually pre-filming a few videos today, so hopefully I can get a lot done like I would like to. But for today's video, I was actually just rummaging through my parents' home. This is the home I grew up in, and I came across something that kind of took me by surprise, because throughout my childhood, throughout my years of existence, I was pretty certain that I was like the only reader in the family. But lo and behold, while I was going through some things like the garage and the spare storage room, I found books. Like, what? I was just taken by surprise because I was convinced that I was the only reader in the family. So when I came across these books, I kind of did a double take, like, what? What are those? Do they know that they're here? And lo and behold, they're books. They're somebody's books. Now, I noticed that these books here that I am going to show you have a theme to it. So I kind of have a hunch whose books these belong to. So I wanted to share with you all like the books that I happen to find. Now, before I even begin, kind of think in your mind, like, what type of books do you think I will end up showing you? Like, go ahead and take this moment to make a wild guess. Do you think it's gonna be like romance books or like science fiction? What type of books do you think I happen to find? Now that I've finally gone through the books and kind of read like the synopsis and kind of just browsed like what are these, I definitely see a theme and I definitely know why these books are here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what I found. So I'm just going to read the title. Author names are not important. If you want to actually find the book yourself, you could just type in the title and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it without any problems. Now, what I think in browsing these books that I have here, I think that these books were purchased all at the same time because at that time they were thinking of pursuing a certain something, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So I'm gonna do relatively like a rapid fire of just like these book titles. I'm not gonna focus on the author names too much. If you really want to find the author name, go ahead and Google it. I doubt you would have any problems. But I'm just gonna give like a rapid fire of like these books because they are very similar in regarding what they are, and I'm just gonna talk about it, okay? So this isn't like any sort of book haul. This is just like a sharing moment of some books that I found that happen to be in our home. So the books that I found is this first one here called The Power of Focus, and this is How to Hit Your Business, Personal and Financial Targets with Absolute Certainty. I also found this one here, which is called Good to Great, which is Why Some Companies Make the Leap and Others Don't. And I also found this one here called Success Built to Last, Creating a Life That Matters. So with these books here, just reading the title, I know why these are here. At one point in time, it was either my dad or my older brother or maybe both. At one point in time, they were actually considering opening like a business, like a franchise. Now and then, as I start to dig more into the books, I start to see like what type of business franchise they were thinking of opening. And that leads me to these books here, which is this one here, which is The Complete Idiot's Guide to Starting and Running a Coffee Bar. And then this book here, which is If It's Raining in Brazil by Starbucks, The Investor's Guide to Profiting from Market Moving Events. So with these two books here, it looks like somebody was planning to open some sort of like coffee shop or something, but that clearly didn't happen because as far as I'm aware, nobody in my family owns a coffee shop or runs a coffee shop, definitely not. But at one point in time, it looks like they were thinking about it. And I'm kind of glad though, in my opinion, that they didn't pursue that, only because there are so many coffee places out there today and it's hard to compete with those big names, and a lot of people, I would say, are stuck in their way as far as like where they like to get their coffee, their morning routine, whether it be at the Starbucks or the Dunkin' Donuts or the diner that they just get their plain black coffee from. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't actually put money into that and pursue that. But as far as like opening a business, absolutely, I'm not surprised that I found these books. Every single person in my family, I definitely come from a family of dreamers. We all aspire to like own our own business that would self-sustain ourselves. Like my dad had his own business and it was just like Pier 1 Imports. This was long before Pier 1 Imports was a very popular name brand store. But it was just like Pure One Imports. He had like similar stuff. And the problem was his business was not successful because you do have to pick like a really good location to have like your place, because and that was the hardest part. Back then we didn't have the internet. It wasn't so easy to just Google something and find something so easily, you know. So he didn't have like the best location, but everyone that stopped by his store always praised it, like, oh, this is so great, the prices are great, everything looks nice, I'm gonna tell my friends. But it's just like in a really bad location. Like, people generally have no reason to go down there, so it just didn't get a lot of foot traffic. So I definitely feel that my dad's business, that was like Pure One Imports, was too early for its time. But then my other brother actually does have a small business, and I would consider it successful because he does have like regular clientele, and he does have like an income stream off of that. So I consider it successful. If I ask him, he might not say so, but also he's humble, you know. Even if it was like super successful and racking in a lot of dollars, I don't think he would ever say like, yeah, I'm doing so great, you know. I think he will always have that humble mindset. Yeah, so that is why I'm not very surprised that I'm seeing these books here. But as far as the other one, now then there were these two books that I found that were along the same lines of like business, you know, but they were kind of threw me off because like I was confused like with what they are. So these are two national bestsellers, and it's called The 5 Temptations of a CEO, a Leadership Fable. And then it says The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, a Leadership Fable, and it's by the same author. And people must like it if it's a bestseller, but when I was like reading the synopsis, I'm not entirely sure. But it seems like these books are like fictional. Like, this isn't like a how-to book that I know of. I haven't read it, but it seems like it's like a fictional book of like the CEO that's going through like problems, I guess. I have no idea. All I know is that this book is incredibly thin. Let's see how many pages it is. Just about 200 pages, and it cost $22.95 at the time. No, that is too expensive for this book. Even if you want to start a business, you're gonna have to be mindful, be financially mindful, and not waste your money, $22 on a book that you're gonna read once and that isn't gonna provide you much information. That's what the library is for, okay? Especially if you're gonna start a business, go to the library. There's a lot of books there on business that's free, and you're not gonna be spending up your startup money to purchase books like this that cost $22.95. Like, mind blown. Now this book here, I didn't read the synopsis too much, but this one is called The Difference Maker, and it says, making your attitude your greatest asset. Now this one, I want to say, from what at least I read of the dust cover, that it talks about more or less like changing your attitude, your mindset. So this is actually one I think I might actually read myself. And then I found a book that's totally outside of what I would have expected to be in this home, that does not belong to me. And part of me wonders if this was for like a school assignment for somebody. I don't even know. Let me see if I can find somebody's name in here. But that book is The Great Gatsby. Now the only reason I say why I feel like this is so unexpected to be in the home and it doesn't belong to me is because my brothers would not read The Great Gatsby. They would not read this book. I want to say that more than likely this belongs to my sister-in-law. That's my guess. I'll probably text her after and ask her, like, is this yours? And I have a feeling that she'll say yes, because absolutely, hands down, my brothers would not read The Great Gatsby. They don't read for pleasure. I can totally make all these other books here. These books make sense to me because they're like business books, how to be your own businessman, and they're very much business minded, right? But reading for pleasure, like The Great Gatsby, I can't. I'm pretty sure, I'm more than certain that this book does not belong to any of my brothers. The last book that I found, this one, I am not surprised that is here, but am also myself interested in reading. And this is called, this book here, Dawn Breaks in the East, A Time Revisited, a Chinese Benedict monk's 26-year ordeal in the prison of communist China in defense of the faith. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this belongs to my mom. I am 99.9% sure that this belongs to my mom. My mom is like very spiritual, very religious. I was just flipping through and I found a bookmark here. Let's see. Yes, okay, yeah, this is definitely my mom's book, and how I know that is that this is from a bookshop in a particular area. So yeah, I know this is my mom's because I found this bookmark and it's showing like the area of where this bookshop is, and this bookshop is in, I don't want to give too much away because I don't want anyone to know exactly where I live, but this bookshop is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, because my mom will, once in a while, since it's in the middle of nowhere, she does this once in a while. She'll travel to this church that's like in the mountains with like the monks and stuff, and every once in a while she'll go there for like mass. It's like definitely a journey to get there, and then I guess somewhere along that drive is a little bookshop, I assume like nearby, and she must have purchased this book there, so that's kind of cool. I would probably read this. I like these kinds of types of books, you know, so yeah. So those are the books that I happen to find in my childhood home, and I was surprised because I thought I was the only reader here, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. So that's what I have for you today in this video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.